can't quite believe I'm saying this, but I've just watched Ryan Garcia lose a wide points decision to Rolly Romero. This is my instant reaction to that decision. We're also going to be very quickly touching on the rest of the card. I don't think this card went quite the way the Saudis envisioned when they put it together, but let's get into it in this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to a guy called Henry. Guys, before I get into this, don't forget to bang a like on the video if you do in fact like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and get your comments in the comments section below. What did you make of these fights? I can't believe what I've just watched. It was a night where I thought that there was three clear winners on the card. Three fighters in Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia that had all been put into interesting fights, competitive fights, but fights that they really should be winning in what would be a big boost for American boxing and a way for the ring and the Saudis to really start to grow their presence in the US. Unfortunately, what we got instead was a real mixed bag of a card. I'll start very quickly with Teofimo Lopez and we'll go through this. Teofimo looked really, really good. I have to say, of all the three of them, I think he is the most talented out of those three. And I said before the fight, I felt that. And he looked good in there, super athletic, really, really good movement, good power. And the fact is, the reality is people were saying if he had more power, he'd knock out Barboza. But I think that's not giving enough credit to Barboza. Barboza is a genuinely good fighter. A genuinely good fighter, difficult opposition for anybody. And I thought that Teofimo Lopez actually really, I thought the first 6 rounds were very competitive. I scored them more or less a split. After that, Teofimo Lopez completely took the fight over, and round 7 onwards, I just thought he looked brilliant. So that fight was fine. But then we get into the 2 fights where, you know, these two had been set up to be on this card together to basically set up their rematch that's already signed for September. And that is Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Of course, they had their first fight. There was all that controversy around Ryan Garcia failing the PED test afterwards. He absolutely destroyed Devin Haney in that fight, knocked him down multiple times and beat him up. And the internet's been going absolutely crazy over everything between those two. And there's been, Devin Haney sued Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's been out the ring for a year. The whole thing has been an absolute total mess. There's been controversy at press conferences, people kicking off with each other. Bill Haney challenging Ryan Garcia, them saying Ryan Garcia's physique doesn't look the same since he was on the PEDs, etc., etc. It's been a mad time. It really has. So going into this one, the best way you can get rid of a mad time is to silence the doubters by putting on a good performance in the ring. Before I get to Ryan Garcia losing to Rolly Romero and what I thought of that, Devin Haney, man. Devin Haney wins a wide points decision against Jose Ramirez, but my God, did he look bad in there. I mean, really, really poor. I mean, it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Not in terms of the fact that he won the fight clearly, but it was just dreadful to watch. Just on his bike constantly, moving around the ring, staying on the outside. This is a guy that has an unbelievable level of athleticism and talent. He's somebody that can be in the pocket, throw combinations, make you miss by inches, make you pay. The way he boxed so scared in there. I think after what happened to him with Ryan, it really, really knocked his confidence. I think he went back in there, really, really moved his legs. And someone made a great comment on my live stream. They said, it looks like Anthony Joshua fighting Andy Ruiz in the rematch. And it's such a good comparison. It's such a good analogy because Joshua went in there and what did he do to make himself feel comfortable and safe? He used the thing he has over most other heavyweights and definitely over Ruiz, which is natural athleticism, great legs, great ability to move around the ring. And it's not really that technical, the boxing. It's just a case of my legs are so good, I can dance outside all day. And every now and again, I'm going to throw the jab. I'm going to put a shot, stick a shot on you, and I'll make you miss and I'll make you pay. But it's not that really good counter punching, which is like we move back an inch, we move back half an inch, make you ever so slightly miss, and then punish you with counter shots. There's no control of the range. It's just a case of Ramirez didn't have quick enough feet, didn't have fast enough hands to actually get to Haney on the outside. He's also pretty shot now, Ramirez. I don't think he's got much left to give in an offer as a professional, to be honest with you. But it was a terrible fight to watch. I mean, Devin Haney, without losing, did himself pretty much no favors in that performance. He did about the worst performance he possibly could in that fight and reduced his credibility while still winning. I mean, I just couldn't believe how bad it was. It was so bad to watch. And then to add insult to injury, he's watching the Ryan Garcia fight. Him and his dad are having a good chuckle ringside, but it's like, mate, you've just absolutely stunk out the joint. Like, nobody is going to be talking about that performance in a positive way. All the people in my live stream, all the comments were like, Devin Haney, I want to sue Devin Haney for boring me. You know, just stuff that just, you want to eradicate the noise. You want to go in there and perform like a true pro, like the true great that you could be with the talent level that you have. So it was a really, really disappointing performance from Devin Haney. And the only way that could be trumped probably by Ryan Garcia in terms of disappointment was with what he did. I mean, it was a dreadful performance from Ryan Garcia. It was one of the worst performances I've seen from someone of that talent level in a very, very long time. And all three of these guys are super erratic and super strange. I mean, even Teofimo has lost to George Kambosos before, who I deem him to be quite a few levels above in terms of ability. So they all seem to fluctuate in performance level. But Devin Haney went in there and fought scared. Ryan Garcia started out like a guy who wasn't afraid. But then what happened was that Rolly Romero dropped him with a heavy left hook counter shot. And it was a really strange shot because he threw the left hand, but it was clearly looping. It was clearly a hook, but Ryan tried to parry it with his right hand, which meant he dropped his guard, which meant the left hand came around and clocked him clean on the chin. And it was a really strange thing because with Ryan Garcia, I've always thought he was a fast reflex fighter who had a great left hook, but I also thought that there was more intelligence to him from what I've seen in the past. The way he beat Luke Campbell, I thought was so impressive. I thought Luke Campbell was a very technical boxer. When you saw the Devin Haney fight, the way he threw in combinations, the way he took advantage of the gaps in Devin Haney's guard, the way he used angles was much, much better. But here, he sat in the pocket right in front of Romero. And Rolly just kept him on the end of that lead hand. He really did. He kept him there. He measured constantly. He controlled Ryan. Lots and lots of body jabs from Rolly Romero. And he completely dominated the range against Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia had no answer to Rolly's lead hand. And because Ryan Garcia was sat in front of him in the pocket, it was so easy for Rolly to control it. Now, I said before the fight that Rolly was pretty good at everything, kind of a 6 out of 10 at everything. But actually, I'd say his power's better than I thought, Rolly Romero. His power's carried up very well to 147. He looked strong. He looked thick at the weight. And Ryan Garcia, because he was sat right in front of him, he was offering no angles. He was offering no solution to that lead hand of Romero. He needed to slap that lead hand down and attack over the top with right hands. He needed to step in with the body jab and get his head off the line as Romero extended that lead hand. The opportunities were there for Ryan Garcia to do something with it, but he just wasn't. And to be honest with you, I think he felt that power from Rolly in round 2. And after that, he just didn't want to gamble anymore. He didn't really want to take chances that he might get knocked out. He looked dejected in there. Derek James did everything he could to try and rally Ryan, to try and hype him up, to try and get him enthused, to try and commit more to the fight. He said, look, you worked so hard this year. You lost all that weight. You did all that. You deserve this. You deserve to win this fight. At the end of the day, you just can't win fights if you're not moving and you're not throwing punches. And I know that's such a basic assessment, but that is exactly what happened. He's just sat there in the pocket, letting Rolly control the range. It was fought at such a low pace. It suited Rolly down to the ground. And I have to say for Rolly, one thing, you say there's no, flashy stuff with him, but he's very solid. I always said he had a good stance, a very solid stance, and he showed that in this fight. Ryan couldn't budge him. When Ryan was landing jabs, they weren't doing anything to Rolly. So he made Ryan Garcia afraid to commit with that left hook. He constantly had that right hand glued to his chin as well, Rolly, so he's ready to block that left hook at all times, which is smart. You have to be ready for that left hook of Ryan Garcia. Everybody knows that's his money shot. Everybody knows that's the shot where he makes you pay. But overall, I just couldn't believe that Ryan let the fight happen to him. We went through 12 rounds, we watched it, and every single round, I just watched it, and Ryan just wasn't making anything happen. I thought the scorecards, 115, 112 for 2 of the judges, and 118, 109, I believe the other scorecard was. I thought the 118, 109 was far more accurate. I scored the fight. If I put my scorecard up on screen now, this was in my live stream. I always score the fights live in my live stream if you're ever interested in joining. I scored it 117, 110 to Romero, but to be honest, I think I should have had it 118, 109 as well. I gave round 6 to Garcia. That after the round, I sort of thought, actually, it's probably a Rolly round, to be fair. But regardless, 117, 110 was my scorecard. An easy win for Romero on the night on the judges' scorecards. Garcia looked dejected afterwards. He was interviewed in the ring and he said, I'm surprised I even got through this year, what my body's been through. I think he was just grateful to have been in the ring, was what he said. And it was a terrible performance. He said he needs to go back to the drawing board, and he really does. I don't know what this means for the Devin Haney rematch in September. That fight's signed for, but do people even want that now? For Rolly Romero, brilliant win. Kudos to you, my guy. You went in there, you looked good at 147. And I think the fight that makes the most sense for Rolly Romero, and the most sense for the guy I'm going to say, is Jerome Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis should fight Rolly Romero because Rolly Romero would be the biggest name on his record by far. Rolly will get paid very well. And I just think that fight makes so much sense. Boots Ennis against Rolly Romero at 147. I think Boots will win the fight comfortably, but I also think it would be a good fight, a good build-up. It would get Boots' personality out there more. I think that's a fight we would love to see as boxing fans. I think it's something that we need. So this is just a very quick reaction, and I will probably do a more detailed video about this on my channel. So make sure you subscribe to get that when it comes. Don't forget to bang a like on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think about this whole thing? Teofimo Lopez also called out Boots Ennis, but I think if Boots watched that card tonight, Teofimo fought at 140 tonight, but if Boots Ennis watched that tonight, you'd want Rolly because he's the bigger name. He's the more exciting guy. He'll build the fight better, and it's just a good fight. Teofimo will be a more difficult fight for sure. Even though I think Boots will still fancy Teofimo because he's by far the smaller man. I'm sure that Boots Ennis would take either of them, but if he had to choose, I think he'd go for Rolly. But overall, guys, just the card was disappointing, I have to say. Teofimo, a great fight against Barboza, a difficult fight, a difficult matchup. I have no complaints about that performance, but again, to reiterate, Devin Haney it was a shocking display. fought like a scared man in there, fought nervously in there, didn't look relaxed at any point, fought jittery. It just wasn't right. He didn't look right in there. And Ryan Garcia, well, everybody's now coming out and saying, was it because of the PEDs? Is that how you were so good? Did you just get caught and now you're clean and that's the issue? Honestly, I think that's taking credit away from Rolly Romero. I didn't think it was an issue for Ryan in the sense of, I don't think his punching power was any different. I just think he wasn't throwing shots. I don't think his gas tank wasn't there because, again, he wasn't throwing shots. I think it was a technical problem. I think it was a sharpness issue. I just think he was completely outboxed and outthought by Rolly Romero tonight. And Ryan felt the power and he just didn't want it after that. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate you being here with me on this channel. We are growing rapidly. And by the way, we're doing channel memberships. And I had like a few new members on that stream. I think we've got like 20 members now, which is awesome. And what my model is for the membership is you pay a couple of pounds, a few dollars a month, whatever it is. Very, very little money. It means you're a member. You get extra perks. It means I always try and reply to your comments when I can. The idea is I want lots of members so that we can grow this channel and get to the point where there's so many of you that money starts to mean something to me and makes a difference. And the idea is if lots of you can pay a little bit, then over time we'll have something special. And I want to make this channel as impartial and neutral and as objective as possible. And by doing that, you help that. So there will be a link in the description for channel memberships. And also, if you'd like to buy the Canelo Skull fight that is tomorrow, there's a link in the description for that too. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And as I always say, on to the next one.